Well, I know many of you are going to be excited about this conversation because you love Veve and you're collecting the things that they're doing with big brands like Disney. And so, really excited, Michael, that you're here with me once again for us to share a conversation about all the fun things happening in your world. For folks that don't know what you do as the US GM, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what keeps you busy day in, day out?
Yeah, my name is Michael Adler, and I've been working with the founders of Veve for the last 2.5 years. And on a day-to-day basis, it really varies from working and bringing in new brands, figuring out new feature sets for the platform, marketing, building the team. So every day is something different, and every day is something new. But it's extremely exciting. And over the last year and a half, we've had massive growth, and we're hoping that this is just the beginning of a long-term, I wouldn't say which is short-term from a project standpoint, but we're really in it for the long term.
So, because you get a chance to work with these huge, well-known brands that people have, crazy fanboy affinity for, right?
Yeah.
The Star Wars and the Marvels of the world.
Yeah.
How are those conversations different from a boardroom perspective than maybe they had been in the past in more of a Web 2 world or traditional advertising collectible world? Because it's a completely new format for these brands to bring new products to market that people can collect and feel like they have value and trade and sell and things of that nature. Tell us a bit about that, working with these huge brands, and how do you best serve them?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, initially, it was really an education process to really help them figure out how a digital collectible can be incorporated into all the things that they're doing, from new movies that are coming out, from new releases, theme parks, and all of that. So for us, it was really just trying to figure out what are the most iconic brands that we want to work with, looking at the characters that people associate the most with, and really just coming up with a strategy on coming out with the first editions that people really want to collect and bringing them out at a price point that aren't absolutely crazy. I mean, our goal is to bring the price points out between $10, $15 up to $100. And really what most of these brands wanted to know is how can we go to the market in a very easy, safe way, controlled, where crypto isn't a big aspect of it, that people can come in and really experience it. And that's how we really approach these brands and got them comfortable to come onto our platform and to work with Veve.
Can you talk a bit about your platform from a technical perspective? There might be other brands that are watching our conversation. They haven't made a decision which platform to partner with. What are some of the things that partners may ask about from just a tech perspective in terms of what you bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, from the way we designed it initially, as being a mobile app, our goal is to make it as easy to use for consumers, but also for brands to be able to go in and interact. And when I look at it, when I explain it to someone, the key is to make it as simple as possible for someone to use. You don't have to go in and download a wallet, go on into an open marketplace and really figure out how to do it. You download the app, you go into the store, you buy a collectible, and then the whole aspect of it is the interactivity, is the experience. And if you're collecting something, you don't want it just to sit there. You want to be able to interact with it. So we have a full AR engine built in where you can open up your collectibles. Just think about it. You have your collectibles 24/7. You can be anywhere in the world and you want to open up your Batman, or if you want to open up any of your Marvel characters, you can do it at the beach. You can do it if you're a college student. You can do it anywhere in a park, anywhere in the world. And then we wanted to give all of our users the ability to have some creativity. And that's sharing their content in a way that is most appealing and personal. And that's why we have our own virtual showrooms where people can go in, set up their virtual showrooms, send them to other people. You can walk into them with AR and VR. And then the last piece is really our secondary marketplace. You don't have to go to a third-party marketplace. You don't have to go to like an OpenSea or Wearable, any of those. You can resell on our platform and to make it unified and very easy. And I think from a technology standpoint, it's a mobile app. It's an in-app purchase. We make it super, super simple for you to come on and buy anything that you like, which is what resonates with our user base, our fans, but also the brands.
So one of the main ways to engage is to become a collector and join the community, maybe jump in the Discord or engage on Twitter, things of that nature. What are other ways? If somebody is a collector or they say, how do I go further? Is Veve hiring? Can I be a part of the team? How can I be a greater ambassador? What are some deeper level opportunities for people that would like to be more involved in what you're currently doing and what you will be doing in the near future?
It's a great question. I mean, a big part of that is, being a brand ambassador, but sharing. So social platforms are so powerful, from YouTube to Twitter to Discord to TikTok. If you are a fan and you actually, were lucky to buy some collectibles and you have them, being able to open them up, being very creative, creating videos that you post on Twitter. Like, for example, we did a drop for the Aston Martin 007, and one of our community members created a video. He opened up the Aston Martin, drove it around, took a video of it, and he got close to 100,000 shares. So that's extremely powerful. So we love going on to Twitter. We love going on to any social platform and seeing our fans come up with crazy, innovative, cool ways to share their collectibles in a unique way, whether it's the showrooms or just open up any collectible and interacting with it. And that's what we love. It's about the experience. This isn't about buying and hoping that your collectible is going to go up 100x. Our goal is for you to be able to collect things that you love, interact with them, share them, and experience it within a community of people who love the similar types of things, from pop culture to cars to automotive to like anything. We want people to experience it. And in order to get more involved, we're super open from a marketing standpoint. If you want to be a brand ambassador, we have a bunch of them around the world. Reach out to us and tell us, what you love about Veve and how you can help.
We live in such a polarizing culture today. Obviously, politics doesn't help with that, right? They're evil and we're great. But this plays out also in the development of all these Web3 projects. Yeah. So instead of people viewing Veve as it is in the gray with lots of wonderful things and of course struggles as tech and markets. And so what ends up happening that I see is people glorify Veve. It's the greatest thing of all time and everything else is terrible, or demonize it. It's the worst. Anything is better. So how do you, as an executive leader, try to move forward, managing expectations so that people can view this for what it is, a very honorable effort to bring these incredibly powerful brands to this market and give the community a chance to have greater ownership and greater connection to the brands. So how do you, from this point forward, begin to manage expectations and try to pull people from the fringe edges into the 80% of kind of a more moderate view of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and make sure people can dance to that rhythm?
Yeah, I mean, I think communication is really important. And our founders, David and Dan, and our marketing team really try to have AMAs be out there to answer questions. And that's one part of I think, a communication strategy is very important. But on the flip side, like you said, we are sitting back and we want to really analyze how we can come out and perfect our platform in different ways, whether it's, payout, or if it's going to be, what are we looking at from a metaverse standpoint? We're not rushing into anything. Our approach is, we're here for the long term. We're telling our brands like the Disneys of the world that, this isn't a, 1 year project. And then if the market crashes with peaks and valleys, then we're going to go away. We're focused on the long term. We're focused on how we can build the right feature sets and also look at the market. Who knows what the future of the metaverse is going to look like. For us, our first step in the metaverse is being able to make our NFTs interoperable, creating showrooms where environments that you can utilize in AR and VR, and then eventually you'll be able to take those in and out of metaverse environments. And who knows who's going to win. Partnering with the right companies and all of that. But our most important thing is brand safety. We want to make sure that our brands feel comfortable, that we're doing the best for them, which is very important. The NFT marketplace, but really subscribers and users they're pretty tough. And they obviously, like you said, they can put us on this pedestal, but we want to be very realistic on what we're going to bring to market. And we want to do it right. We would rather wait 2 or 3 months to bring out a new feature set, test it, be meticulous about it, then bring something to market that people aren't going to like. And like I said, the most important thing is the long-term view. We want to be in this for the long term. And whether it's 5 years, 10 years, we want to do what's right for our brands, for our users. We want to listen to both of them. And everyone's going through this. This is a new paradigm. Like, who knows what the next 5 years are going to bring? So we have to do our research and be very meticulous on what we think is going to be the future and what we need to bring to market. And we're not always going to be right. And we know that.
So when I view from the outside, the open metaverses, there's many of them, but the sandboxes and the voxels and the Decentralands of the world, I feel like they've done a good job of being kind to one another. Of course, it's build with us and here's what we're bringing to market, but we also love these other metaverses and it's all gonna be interoperable anyway one day. So I feel like that's been a cool example. How does Veve deal with other collaborative competitors in the industry? DC has a new product. And so what is the thought on that? Does a rising tide raise all ships in this industry? Can there be collaboration, cross-brand, cross-platform? How do you play nice, but still build your own, environment for this community to thrive?
Yeah, I mean, look, in the rising ships, in upturns and downturns in markets, the companies that aren't doing well will go by the wayside. And we recognize that. It happens in all boom and bust economies. But for us, look, we look at our competitors as hopefully they're raising the bar. We want to raise the bar and we want to find ways to collaborate. Our main thing is, we need to do what's right for our brands. And that's the most important thing. For Disney, for Warner Brothers, for Coke, we want to make sure that they're happy. And, even our choices of, the blockchains, we chose to go from one chain to another because Immutable X, gasless, it's easier, but also they're building gateways onto OpenSea and they're building gateways that we want to partner. I mean, we don't want to be isolated in our own little world. We want to be a part of the bigger ecosystem and we want to add as much value to that ecosystem with our collectibles, with our feature sets, with everything that we're rolling out. So look, we look at competition as a good way for us to up our game. And if another competitor comes out with a feature set, whether it's payout or whether it's some interoperability, we want to get there. And we want to make sure that we're on par or come out with better feature sets than our competitors.
There's so many brands you get to work with, but one that is being talked about right now is Star Wars, right? Today's a big day. Obi-Wan Kenobi's new show comes out on Disney Plus. He just released the lightsabers. There's the original poster. And so can you give us an idea when you're bringing an established brand to market, and it's not the second, third, fourth go around, but it's kind of the big initial push. What are big initial pushes like for your team internally? And what are you looking for the community? How are you looking for them to respond as you bring these different new, for instance, Star Wars NFT assets to market?
Yeah, our goal is to look at the most recognized assets or characters from Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. And we want to really just understand. And look, we make our educated guess on what we think could be great. Lightsabers are super cool. And the interactivity of what we brought to it from where you can open it up and it's pretty cool. So we try to have good conversations with our brands to see what they think their users will resonate. We do our research to see what products, characters are most popular. And then our goal is to do a marketing campaign or cadence. We want to come out with a good video. We want to come out with a good press release. We want to be able to come out across all our platforms from Twitter, Instagram, and making sure that we're communicating why we're passionate and why we're bringing something to market. And that's really the goal. The goal is, from a marketing standpoint, is to do as much as we can to get people excited. And that's what it's about. It's not building hype, but we want to be able to build the demand where people want to come, go into that platform and buy it, on the drop date.
Can you talk a bit about digital collectibles versus physical collectibles, and maybe more importantly, hybrid collectibles? These collectibles that maybe start off physical and they have a digital twin, or they start off digital and maybe there's a physical element that can be, had by the collector.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it both ways. People want to have something tangible, physical, that they can go to a store, bring it home, interact with it. But there's some things that are unattainable that people can't get. And the representation of owning it in a digital form is extremely powerful, not just from an ownership standpoint and owning a limited edition or a limited number, but it's interacting with it and sharing it on social, putting it in your showroom. And like if we can gamify it in the right way, having, a whole set of all the lightsabers are incredible. That's what I saw. I was on Twitter this morning, and one of our users put up a post that he finally got all 6 of them. It's pretty amazing. That's great. And that's the part of the platform from a collecting standpoint is key. But I mean, I think going forward, the digital ownership will be powerful in a lot of different ways, from unlocking utility value. Also, it can be authenticity that you own something in the physical world. So I think understanding what the future is going to be, that digital aspect could be very powerful.
You shared a really cool story with me about when you met Spielberg and George Lucas.
Yeah.
What do you think the conversation might be like from a optimistic perspective if you were to sit down with Lucas, or Stanley is gone, but if Stanley was here and you could have a conversation? I mean, what might it be like for these guys to see the development, right? They've seen it go from comic books and movies to unlimited movies and TV shows, and now physical collectibles, and now digital collectibles. And so these universes, these ideas that these people and their teams had, have become so broad and so pervasive across culture. And what do you think it's like for a founder? Of course, Stan Lee only looking down to us, but for Lucas, right? He's still able to see lightsabers on the blockchain, right? So what do you think it's like for these founders to see the development and the way things have matured over time?
I think it's incredible. They were visionaries. If you look at the movies that they created in the 80s and 90s, they were always pushing the envelope on the digital aspect. So I think this is really where they would have envisioned everything going. Metaverse, being able to experience things in the most incredible way. Imagine Steven Spielberg, if you could interact with ET and have that feeling. I mean, that's what it was all about, bringing that to life and bringing a character to life. And that's even the evolution in animation. Animation is so real now. And then the next evolution is being able to take that in a digital format and have some type of ownership and experience. So I really think that not only probably could they see this happening, but I think they would embrace it. And I think they would add a tremendous amount to what the future is. Imagine, our comic books, not having to buy a physical copy, but still having the same value, utility value of owning it. You could have different covers, but you can open it up anywhere and experience it anywhere you are in the world. You're on a plane, you want to open up a comic book, you can do it. So I think it's the experience that it's all about, but it's also pushing the envelope, like you said before, that we want to continue to evolve, add feature sets that the Spielbergs, the George Lucases, the Steve Jobs, would embrace.
Well, I could keep chatting with you for a long time, but I do want to be thoughtful of time. So, you have over 20 years experience scaling startups. You have years in this NFT industry. Can you share with me, what is a thing or some things that you believe strongly that you don't think are held in consensus by other leaders? What's perspective or perspectives that you just keep having kind of roll around in your mind that you don't think people have adopted that thought process, or they just don't see it from how you're viewing things?
Look, my goal is always looking at trends and being 1 or 2 steps ahead of those trends. And there's always a maturation process when it comes to new technologies. And like, everyone who looks at the NFT space, they read all these articles, things are down 90%. It's a fad, there's no value in them, but it takes time for technologies to evolve, and I want to say become more mainstream, but have different use cases. Like if you look at blockchain initially, people really didn't understand the value of blockchain. But now, as the years have gone on, people really understand how it improves, security, transparency, and all of that. Same thing with other parts of technology, like the Ubers of the world. No one ever thought, oh, I'm going to go on an app and I'm going to have my own car come to my door and I'm going to have my own personal chauffeur. But that's what it is. And people have to have an open mind, but they need to be realistic. Usually what happens is things go up like a roller coaster, but they're going to come down, but they're not going to come all the way down to the bottom. They're going to level out at some point. And that's really what people have to understand, that it's not all or nothing. There's a combination in between, and people have to understand that. And people have to respect the fact that the cycles are evolutionary, which is great.
Well, I sure appreciated your insights you shared. I do feel like I want to ask you one last question about new IP that's being created in the NFT market. Because right now you're established with Disney, but there's all this new IP, right? Yuga Labs has created some incredible IP. Proof Collective has been creating some incredible IP. Josie Bellini and the folks at Cyber Brokers, incredible IP, and it goes on and on and on. Yeah. And some of this IP is going to become, as big of a deal as a Disney over the course of the next 100 years, certainly. Yeah. And so where is their place? This new IP that's been created in the blockchain as NFTs, where is that place in terms of creating collectibles that may align with what Veve is doing? Or is there an open door for Veve to work with some of these types of NFT brands to bring collectibles to market?
There's definitely an open door. Our focus isn't, look, we want to work with big brands, and we've done a great job of curating and working with them, but we also are always looking for newer up and coming content companies and creators. And we've brought some very unique stuff to market. But for those people who are, up and coming, or they're out of the box and they're creating these new content, look, the digital world is a great way for it, because there's a wider reach, there's a bigger market. And look, when someone comes on our platform, they might not be the biggest Disney fan. We want to be able to cater and bring on new stuff that people are going to like, whether, people go to DesignerCon or they go to Comic-Con, or if they go anywhere else. So we are always looking to curate unique assets outside of the big brands. We love working with the big brands, and we want to be an advocate for them. And we want to be able to teach them how to come into the NFT world in a very easy, safe way. But yeah, we're always on the lookout. And I think it's great. When you're talking about like our virtual showrooms, or you're looking at a metaverse, every person is different. How they're going to create their showroom, what they're going to put up on the walls, how they're going to interact with the metaverse is going to be different. And someone's going to love some of these up and coming, artists. Like look at, Bored Apes. No one knew what was going to happen with them. And you never know what's going to take off. And it's easier in the digital world where you can create something, it takes off. Or if it doesn't, it doesn't sell, it's not the end of the world. You can create new content and you can create new things, which is amazing. And that's what I love about the space.
Well, we're excited to have Veve represented at NFT.NYC again this year.
Super excited. It'll be great.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you speak on just the collectible future in light of Web 3.0. And also, there's more than half a dozen Comic-Cons coming up this year. And it's cool that you get to be kind of all these different industries and partake in the community, and also bring something to the community. So Michael, thank you for jumping on with me once again. So always fun to share a conversation. Maybe it's watching our conversation. Thank you for your attention. Michael and I look forward to seeing you in New York City, June 20th through the 23rd for NFT.NYC. Michael, have a happy day.
Thank you, Ann. Look forward to